and a terrifying realization crashes over you like cold water. No one is coming. No one will save you from where you are right now. No one will invest their time, money, or belief into the vision that lives inside your head. No one will push you forward when exhaustion makes your legs heavy. And if you stumble and fall, no one will be there to catch you before you hit the ground. For most people, this realization becomes the beginning of depression. It's the moment where they break, where they feel abandoned by a world that promised them something different. They feel like victims of circumstance, crying out to an indifferent universe, asking why they must walk this path alone. But for a small minority, the ones Niccolo Machiavelli would have recognized as possessing true virtue, this moment is not a tragedy. It's a baptism. It's the moment you're reborn into a harder, clearer version of reality. You're here because you feel it already. You feel the weight of an ambition that no one around you seems to understand or care about. You're exhausted from explaining yourself to people who seem committed to misunderstanding you, who treat your dreams like they're naive delusions. You're tired of waiting for permission that will never come, for support that remains perpetually out of reach, for the team that exists only in your imagination. The waiting needs to stop. The idea that you need support to succeed is one of the most destructive lies that modern society sells you. Machiavelli understood this fundamental truth about power 5 centuries ago when he wrote in The Prince that a wise ruler must rely on what is within his own control, not on what is controlled by others. The great conquerors, the architects of empires, the individuals who actually changed the trajectory of history, they all understood that being alone was not a defect in their character. It was a superpower that set them apart from everyone else. This is about showing you how to build something significant with zero support from the outside world. This is about revealing why having no one in your corner is actually a strategic advantage that gives you a lethality, a focused intensity that the person with a support network will never possess. But understand this clearly before we continue. What follows will perform surgery on your mindset. We're going to cut out the part of you that craves validation from others. We're going to kill the herd animal that lives inside you, the one that seeks the warmth and safety of the crowd. If you're scared of walking into the darkness alone, if you need the comfort of other people telling you everything will be okay, then turn this off now. Go back to the crowd. They'll keep you warm with their words and their false encouragement. But if you're ready to become the kind of person who makes crowds uncomfortable, the kind of person who operates by a different set of rules, then pay close attention to what comes next. This is dark psychology applied to personal development. This is Machiavellian philosophy translated into a success mindset for the modern age. From the moment you were born, you've been conditioned, programmed, and trained to be dependent on others. Your schooling taught you to work in groups, to value collaboration over individual achievement. Religious institutions taught you about community and congregation. Society at large taught you that networking is everything, that success comes from who you know rather than what you know. You've absorbed this message so deeply that you probably nod along when people say it. You might even believe it yourself, but this belief system is poison running through your veins. When you rely on who you know rather than what you can do, you're essentially admitting that you're powerless without those connections. You're handing the keys to your destiny over to people who will always act based on their self-interest, not yours. Machiavelli wrote extensively about this trap. A wise leader, he insisted, should rely on what is within his own power, not on what depends on the goodwill or cooperation of others. When you seek support from someone, you're not just asking for help. You're entering into a debt relationship. Think carefully about this dynamic. When someone helps you, you owe them something in return. When someone invests in you, They own a piece of you, a claim on your future success. When someone gives you emotional support, they hold the power to withdraw that support and watch you crumble. You think you're looking for a safety net, but a safety net is also a spider web. Yes, it catches you when you fall, but it also traps you in place, limits your movement, keeps you from soaring. The reason you haven't succeeded yet has nothing to do with lacking support. The real reason is that you're still looking for it. You're burning valuable mental energy scanning the horizon for a savior instead of becoming your own rescuer. You're diluting your vision, making it softer and more palatable so that others might approve of it. You're waiting for applause before you've even finished your performance. This pattern needs to end. You must accept what I call the 0 point. This is the state of absolute isolation. The moment when you look at your bank account, scroll through your contacts, assess your resources, and see nothing but your own reflection staring back at you. Most people panic at the 0 point. They feel like they're standing at the edge of an abyss. You're going to see it differently. You're going to recognize it as the ultimate freedom. If you have 0 support, you have 0 masters. If no one helped you climb to where you are, no one can yank you back down. If you built something entirely alone, you keep 100% ownership of that throne. This is the cold rationality that separates the outlier from the average person. We don't cry about the empty room. We use the space to build without interference. Machiavelli famously wrote that it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Let's apply this principle to your current situation. When you're looking for support, you're really looking to be loved. You want people to like your ideas, to think well of you, to cheer for your success. You're operating from a place of emotional neediness, but neediness repels power the same way light repels darkness. Have you noticed this pattern in your own life? The more desperately you beg for help, the less you receive. The more you try to explain your grand vision to people with small horizons, the more they roll their eyes and dismiss you. They sense your desperation, and desperation has the smell of weakness. To succeed with 0 support, you must stop trying to be loved and start commanding respect through raw competence. This requires a fundamental shift in your internal engine. You're no longer running on the fuel of encouragement and kind words. You're running on the fuel of defiance and self-generated drive. Look at the people who don't support you, the doubters who think you'll fail, the ghosts who stopped responding to your messages. Don't feel sadness about them. Feel a cold, calculated determination. They don't believe in you? Good. That means the market is open for you to dominate. They won't help you. Excellent. That means you don't have to share the rewards when you succeed. You need to reach a point where their indifference doesn't hurt your feelings anymore. Instead, it sharpens your focus like a whetstone sharpens a blade. Imagine yourself as a general on a battlefield who looks back and sees that his entire army has deserted him. He stands alone against the enemy forces. Does he sit down and cry about loyalty and betrayal? No. He assesses his weapons, evaluates the terrain, and realizes something crucial. A single person moving in the shadows is much harder to kill than a clumsy army marching in the light. He becomes asymmetrical, unpredictable, dangerous. You are that general. Your lack of support forces you to be smarter than you would be otherwise. It forces you to be faster, more efficient, more creative. A large corporation with 1,000 employees moves